I am Eitaya Deyemi. I'm bringing a video summary, a video review of part 3, chapter 12 of the book The 80-20 Principle by Richard Koch. And the title of that chapter is With a Little Help from Our Friends. So, first and foremost, the principle itself suggests that 80% of consequences comes from just 20% of causes. Your results, outcomes, 80% of outcomes is only determined by 20% of input. And so when it relates as it relates to relationship, what does this suggest? It means that 80% of values in our relationship comes from only 20% of our relationships. 80% of values come from 20% of close relationships formed early in life. And uh, apparently, we give less than 80% attention to the 20% of relationships that brings 80% of value in our lives. And so what this is about is for us to learn to prioritize and prioritize quality over quantity. We must begin to put value on quality over quantity, pay more attention to the things that bring the most value in our endeavors. So I must also at this point say that we must spend 80% of our time uh, deepening the relationships, the 20% of relationships, cultivating and deepening those relationships, 20% of it, that brings the most value in our lives. This applies to both our personal relationships, friends, families, loved ones, partners, and even professional relationships. And research has also suggested that most of our emotional slots are filled. Once they are filled forever. The the earlier we and the more and earlier we allocate our emotional spaces to relationships, the less we become capable of cultivating deep relationships. Too much exposure too early exhausts one's capacity for further deep relationships. So what that means is that just a small number of our relationship accounts for a large proportion of our emotional value. So we have to fill the slots carefully and not too soon. And professionally, in business, in career, we need alliances. No one historically has ever um, no one historically has ever done something great without some form of alliance. Talk about World War II, Theodore Roosevelt in America. It should be Theodore Roosevelt in America, and Churchill in Britain. That coalition really went a long way in determining the outcome of World War II. Even Hitler had alliances, within the German nation, and he would have been able to really do what he actually wanted and planned to do if, if he wasn't stopped. What that means is that you could be great in your own self, you could have that capacity, but without credible, reliable, productive alliances, you will probably not go very far. And so, when it comes to professional relationships, we are encouraged to have relationships with mentors, colleagues, and mentees, others that look up to us. We have people we look up to, we have people that we share together because we're on the same level, and we also have those that look up to us. But there are 5 things that should determine the quality of, that are attributes of great relationships, whether they are personal or professional, but mostly professional. And number one is the fact that we must have a mutual enjoyment of one another's company. If I really don't like you, I don't enjoy your company, that relationship may not necessarily stand a chance. And secondly, from that is the fact that there has to be mutual respect. If I admire you, you know, if I enjoy your company, but I can't vouch for your capacity, your credibility, there's no respect, the relationship really does not have a chance, as it were. And there's also the place of shared experience. We realize that people also bond, especially when they have gone through the same kind of challenges in their business and relationships and all that. And the next one is reciprocity, meaning that relationships cannot be one-sided. I can't be one person can't be the only one enjoying the other person's company. One person can't be the only one who respects the other. So there has to be reciprocity, and more importantly, finally, there has to be trust amongst us. So this is my summary. I hope you were blessed. I'll see you next time.